There's something inspiring about making music outdoors. The combination of an infinite choice of backgrounds, unusual acoustic spaces, and the ambient sounds you pick up make it a very different experience to recording in a studio. This summer, I decided to set myself the challenge of creating a bunch of field recordings on a 4-track cassette machine to form the basis of our new analogue album. This idea is partly inspired by Alan Lomax's field recordings from the mid-20th century. If you've not heard of Lomax before, he's best known for his numerous field recordings of American folk music. I want to keep everything analogue for this project as I like the sound of tape and want that authentic old school feel. I'm going to use my Tascam 424 cassette porter studio for the recordings, and I've bought a portable battery pack to run it off the grid. Okay, let's get into it and show you some of the locations. I chose this cove as my first location as I love the view and the sounds of waves and birdsong. It's a beautiful spot, although I had to be careful where I set up so I didn't get my gear wet. Let's have a listen to the music and ambient sound I captured here. We got up early for the second site as I wanted to get some morning birdsong and to avoid annoying the joggers. I wasn't quite early enough though, so got a few weird looks from some runners, but shouts or encouragement from others. Here's a little snippet of a recording I made here. As well as recording myself in the spaces, I also did some recording of the ambient sounds by themselves, so let's have a listen to those now and see what they sound like. This was recorded next to the C where I played the resonator guitar earlier in the video. I used the stereo mic into inputs 1 and 2 and I've got it panned hard left and right to get the stereo imaging. Let's turn up a bit and have a listen. It's picked up quite a lot of detail there, which I'm pretty pleased with. One thing I want to play around with these recordings is to change the speed and see what happens with that. So one of the great features on this particular deck is you've got 3 different tape speeds. So currently we're in high, we've got normal and slow. Let's play this back at each of the different speeds and see how that sounds. Okay, and now onto the slow speed. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think that's too useful, so I probably won't use that particular setting. I haven't decided exactly how I'll use these ambient recordings, but it would probably be to link songs together or as background textures within tracks. I've chosen this spot to record in as it has some natural reverb, which I'd like to accentuate. I've also plugged in for this one and I'll be using my cigar box guitar with my little battery powered amp. I put my amp near the entrance with a close mic and a stereo mic further into the cave so I can pick up more of the reverb, which I can adjust whilst mixing. In the previous locations, I arrived with no pre-planned conceptions of what I'd play and let the atmosphere of the space lead me. This time was a bit different and I recorded a song with lyrics that relate to the site. I also overdubbed a couple of extra parts. I thought it would be useful at this point to have a look at how things are laid out on the 4-track itself. So I've got bass on track 1, vocals on track 2, they're both recorded live in the setting as you can see in the video in the background. Then I've overdubbed 2 guitar parts on track 3 and 4. As you'll hear in a second though, I also sing at the same time as playing these parts to get some harmonies. Here we go, closer listen. They're the two guitars and harmonies by themselves. Let's add the main singing. Lost in your thoughts, watch the ground as it and then the bass as you come to the chorus. It falls away, so breathe in and take note of what you got. Also pan these left and right. Stop trying to be what you are not. Just the guitars now. It could be. Let's put the bass back in. And as you can see, there's not much EQ going on. I did that mainly on the way in. Alright. Let's return back to 0. Well, it's been a fun project so far, and I've got most of the tracks recorded for the album. It's taken longer than I thought, as it's involved lots of travelling around and a bit of trial and error to get the best locations. The self-imposed limitations of recording outdoors with my 4-track have certainly changed the way I've approached the album, and it's been an interesting journey. I'm planning to do a second episode in this series to show you how I mix the tracks as well, so if that's something you're interested in seeing, please hit the subscribe button so you can keep up to date with what's going on. Anyway, thanks for watching and catch you next time.